Duke stuck his head out and said, "I want to team up with you. Can you teach me how to kill?" Dallas was stunned. "You guys are so eager to kill," he said. "Why are you all thinking about killing? It's illegal to kill." At the same time, he wondered if the people in Sin Town were a bit friendlier. In just a few days, he had met several people who talked to him about killing. Duke was a bit confused for a moment. "I'm not very good with words. What I mean is I want to become stronger. Like you." Dallas thought for a moment. Speaking with profound sincerity, he said, "You might become bald. Then you will become strong." The bus returned to the school. The driver hurriedly ran towards Dallas. "You see, our break is almost over. Should we go back for the reward money?" Dallas glanced at him speechlessly. "How could you be more eager than me? We just got off the car." The driver chuckled and said, "Then you should rest first." He followed Dallas to the president's office without leaving his side. The president explained that the assessment results have not been released yet, and the specific ranking is also uncertain, so Dallas's compensation is being postponed. Dallas is not a lenient parent. He turned to the bus driver and asked, "What ranking do you think is best for me?" "First place." "You must be first." "Okay, now I'm first." The president looked puzzled. "Are you kidding me? What do you mean by being first? Do you think you can just be first by touching your lips together? And who is this person anyway? He's not a big shot either. It seems like this time he has the final say in the assessment." The president's attitude suddenly did a 360-degree shift. He reached out and held the driver's hand, as if they were old friends for many years. "Oh, it turns out you are a leader from the province. I'm really sorry. Look at you, young and promising from the province. And so handsome, I must say. Unlike our small place," the president said with a hint of melancholy on his face. Let out a light sigh. "No money, no resources. We can only watch one after another talented individuals leave due to lack of resources. I, as the president, feel distressed about this because of our lack of resources." At the same time, he instructed the director beside him to quickly serve tea to the leaders. Then, have the cafeteria prepare a table of delicious dishes. Today, I will have a heart-to-heart conversation over drinks with the leader who came down from the province. I believe the leader will also see the difficulties we face and allocate funds to us. He asked a question. "I'm not sure which department the leader is in charge of." The driver, who was being buttered up, was a bit confused. He blurted out, "Reserve forces." The smile on the president's face gradually froze. He slowly let go of the hand he was holding. And he even snatched the hot water that had just spilled. "It turns out to be the reserve forces. Forget what I said earlier. This bald man is definitely the top-tier pickup artist." He buttered up the bus driver so much that he was completely flattered. When he found out that the driver had no value to offer, his attitude immediately made a 180-degree shift. "Why didn't you say it was the reserve forces earlier? I thought it was the big boss coming." Dallas doesn't buy into his tricks. He directly reached out to demand his own compensation. "Shouldn't the things promised to me be given to me?" The president still wants to procrastinate. Even the lowest level demon crystal in this world is valuable. He is also a little reluctant to give Dallas 3 at once. Dallas stared at him blankly, making him feel uneasy. He had heard about Dallas's performance during the assessment. Maybe this tough guy will stand up and fix himself in the future. He helplessly took out 3 demon crystals from his pocket and gave all of them to you. He looked like he had never seen the market before. Dallas, who received the demon crystal, had no desire to listen to Bald Man ramble on any longer. In the roar of the president, Dallas walked out of the president's office. Then his phone rang. Carson called, saying with a smirk, "Your old man is quite a tough character. When I went to see him today, I found out he wasn't even locked up in the prison cell. He even showed his palm to a few policewomen. Such treatment, I've never seen it before. But I'm really smart. Under my arrangements, Your old man has successfully become a lascivious crime suspect. At least for the next year, don't even think about him getting out. And I specifically instructed to change to a private room for your old man, ensuring that no female can come into contact with him. Dallas's eyes lit up upon hearing this. A true brother for life. At this moment, Dallas felt particularly comfortable. He and driver arrived at the Moj branch in the provincial capital. Bus driver looked proud and sassy. How's the presents? Such a grand display. Do you want to take photos to remember this moment? But Dallas seems to have noticed that something is a bit off. Originally enthusiastic ticket window staff. She was suddenly shocked when she saw the bus driver come in. She hurriedly picked up the phone. The lunatic is back. Why does he never stop? The driver walked to an empty counter every time. There was a sign saying, "Service temporarily paused," placed there. This left some people who were there to conduct business confused. What is going on? Everything was going smoothly. Why is it suddenly closed? The bus driver awkwardly stood in place. His reputation here is not very good. He is a habitual offender who deceives and blusters. These staff members have long been on high alert against him. While Dallas quietly turned away, looking at him with a very complex look. It seemed like everything had been said. Maybe if he had come 1/3 of the time, he would have taken away the reward for being courageous. Bringing this guy along. It's probably completely hopeless. People who talk too much are not reliable. Sintown really didn't deceive itself. This is definitely the worst time Dallas has been screwed over. He thought that performing a heroic act could earn him some bounty points in Moj. But he didn't expect that the bus driver was unreliable. He has a bad reputation in Moj. Wherever he goes, the windows are all marked as temporarily closed. Dallas felt he had misjudged once again. At this moment, a lively young lady politely asked if services could be processed now. Our boss was seriously injured while carrying out a mission. He is currently lying in the hospital. We want to claim the bonus to help our boss. As soon as the staff heard this, they immediately put away the sign indicating suspension of services. Little sister, please don't worry. First, please explain the specific situation. At this time, Ponytail Girl was crying tears. I heard that you can earn a reward by fighting cults and then saving people. If our boss dies, we won't survive. He fights for the human race. You can't ignore him. The staff hurriedly comforted her emotions. Don't worry. I'll help you verify this policy immediately. She soon found the policy. But you also have no evidence to prove it. The process in which your boss got injured. After all, who would record a video during a battle? Just then, a USB drive was pushed in. The staff were a little stunned for a moment. It turns out that there is one. She checked the process on the computer. 3 men appeared in the video. They shouted passionately with great enthusiasm and charged towards a man in a suit. Several people started to fight in a flash of lightning and fire. After a loud explosion, the 3 people helped each other as they walked out. At this moment, Ponytail Girl once again staged the tear strategy. Miss, please. If you delay any longer, the captain will die. The clerk was caught in a dilemma. After a long time, she gritted her teeth. I don't have the authority. Wait for me, I'll go find the leader right away. After saying that, she turned around and ran inside. The bus driver who watched the whole thing was stunned. Can this also be done? And is such a creative woman. Dallas, on the other hand, looked at him softly. It's as if she's doing the same kind of business. Why is their packaging so sophisticated, while yours is so unprofessional? The driver seemed to be unable to bear Dallas' disdainful gaze. He reached out and messed up his own hair. The whole person also became a bit bitter. He staggered towards the counter. A man in his 40s managed to squeeze out some tears. Sister, please save me. I have some information here too. Our boss is about to die soon. He is really pitiful. His arms and legs have been beaten to a pulp. Only his head is left hanging there. If you don't give me a pass, it will be considered as murdering the reserve force's commander. That would be a serious crime. He was patting the counter and appeared very agitated. He even looked a bit crazy in his eyes. He signaled Dallas to cooperate with him. The money must be collected today. But Dallas stared silently behind him. If I'm not mistaken, the person behind you should be your boss, right? The driver was suddenly scared out of his wits. The importance of having a teammate with brains. Others just edit videos and add background music. It's super cool. In Dallas, they don't even have the qualifications to speak up. They were just messed up by the driver. His flamboyant performance left Dallas all at sea. He is really pushing it. However, if I'm not mistaken, the person behind you should be the boss you mentioned. The bus driver broke out in a cold sweat. But his response was quite quick. He forced a smile. My boss is mighty and domineering. Fearless from head to toe. He can defeat a demon in 10 steps and travel 1,000 miles without stopping. How could he die at the hands of a mere demon? The staff immediately became angry and ashamed. Do you think this is a charity organization where you can freeload? It's really careless of me to listen to your nonsense for so long. Next. At this moment, the person behind the driver spoke up. According to what you just said, am I the only one left with a stubborn head still alive? The driver turned his head with difficulty and said, What a coincidence, boss, you're here too. He saw his boss's expression becoming more and more icy, with a hint of restlessness. The driver quickly explained, Boss, listen to me and let me argue with you. He grabbed his boss's thick arm and tried to pull him to the side, but he couldn't move him. He could only jump up and quickly say a few words near the boss's ear. The boss, who was still very imposing a second ago. The next second, his gaze fell on the calm Dallas. His bulb-like eyes were shining brightly. Is he really that awesome? He saw a driver nodding so confidently. The boss's expression toward Dallas changed. He didn't expect Dallas to be a big moneybags. He walked slowly towards Dallas and said, Hello, I am Matthew. Then he patted Dallas on the shoulder. He didn't say much. If you have any grievances in the future, just tell me directly. I will send a whole battalion to deal with it. Dallas moved his body slightly outward. I don't like fighting. I just like to make some extra money. Matthew slapped his chest with a loud sound. Look at me. If I can't withdraw the money today, I'll share your last name. Dallas became even more silent, with the same tone and the same actions as the driver. He seemed a bit hasty himself. He really should have come alone. Maybe there's still a chance to get the money. At this moment, and looked at the resolute Matthew and couldn't help but worry. Will these fools from the reserve forces ruin my good fortune? The staff called for the manager of the Moj branch. At this time, Matthew pushed aside and beside him and said, Let me handle it first. Haven't you heard what my subordinate said? I'm on the verge of losing my head. The responsible person was speechless. Clearly, he is a hero who has shed blood and made great contributions to the human race. But he comes and acts like a rascal every now and then. He reassured with a phrase. Wait for me to handle it. Let me finish the work first, and then I will solve your issue. Then he looked towards and on the side. So, it turns out they both appeared at the same time. He pointed at the two people and yelled at the staff. You are newcomers, right? Remember these two faces. Put both of them on the blacklist for incoming visitors. They are all here to scam money. Dallas sighed inwardly. People outside of Sin Town are really unreliable. This group of people really gives Dallas a hard time. He thought he could easily claim the bounty. Now he has been directly blacklisted by Moj. Dallas sighed again. Sure enough, people outside Sin Town are unreliable. Matthew was extremely embarrassed face. He angrily shouted to stop the responsible person. You're talking nonsense. Who's here to scam money? Then he chuckled and hugged Dallas. Do you know who this is? Responsible person frowned slightly, with a solemn expression. Matthew is the commander of the Northern River Province Reserve Forces, level 6 the Awakened, although a bit silly. But we have to admit that his status is very high. To be able to have someone of this level introduce him personally, could it be a big shot from above? I don't know who this person is. At this moment, Matthew is quite proud. It's as if Dallas next to him is the important figure he's trying to please. This is my good younger brother. He has shed blood for the human race and killed demons for the human race. Why doesn't he get paid for saving people with his skills? Do you want me to lose face in front of my brother today? Believe it or not, I will strip off your pants and hang them at the Moj gate for a day. I thought he was a king. I didn't expect him to be a king in words only. The responsible person adjusted his tie. Don't think that I'm afraid of you. Allowing this brat to come to me every day. Robbery without end, right? Come on, let me see how you deal with me. A brute from the academy. Matthew's sleeves were immediately rolled up. A roar came out of his mouth. A pattern even appeared on his forehead. Your school is awesome. A bunch of trash. I won't beat you today. I'm sorry for the school's cultivation of me. The two faced off against each other. It seems like they were about to start a fight the next second. Just then, Dallas cleared his throat twice. Can I say something? According to the Moj Penal Code, those who fight without reason in the city as the Awakened will face 15 days of detention and a fine of 10,000 yuan. Those with a greater impact will be detained for more than 6 months. A public security fine of 100,000 yuan. Upon hearing this information, Matthew instantly wilted. Isn't this going to kill me? Dallas then turned his gaze to Mo's staff. I am applying for a transaction. If there is unreasonable delay or refusal to serve, I have the right to ensure my legitimate interests under Article 32 of the Consumer Rights Protection Law. Looking at the well-behaved Dallas Matthews sitting in front of the platform, and the bus driver, both fell silent. Are you sure this kid is mentally normal? Can money be obtained this way? Dallas handed the USB drive to the staff. The scene clearly shows Dallas fighting with Beggar. But the video seems to have editing traces. Dallas admitted directly. There was indeed editing. But you can arrange for a special agent to analyze the situation on the field. The strengths of both sides are not balanced. If I don't take action, the student union will lose. So coming to the rescue is justified. When Dallas has more to say, the responsible person on the side spoke up directly. Grant him permission. Pay out the bonus according to the monetary standard. The staff didn't dare to delay and quickly approved the review. The bonus will be credited within 3 working days. Dallas did not leave, but instead walked up to the responsible person and asked, Can I know why? The bounty that others were trying to trick out of you. Dallas effortlessly got his hands on it. He just couldn't figure it out. His exaggerated acting and clumsy editing were obvious signs of deliberate posing. He asked the man why he let him pass. The responsible person, however, asked if Dallas had considered working at the Shadow Pavilion. Dallas shook his head. He doesn't have plans in that direction for now. The responsible person directly took out a business card and handed it to Dallas. My last name is Lin. I am the Vice Master of the Northern River Province Moj branch. Trust me, your income will be much more than this once you join the Shadow Pavilion. Upon seeing this, Matthew became anxious. He pushed away Master Lin's business card. What are you scheming, you old cunning fox? Don't think I don't know what you're up to. This is someone from our reserve forces. It hasn't been easy for a smart person like me all these years. His only response was a scornful laugh. The reserve forces is a camp for fools. Who would go report to you guys? He left only Matthew standing there, seating in place. Then he turned to Dallas, flattering him. This time was unexpected. We are still reliable. Although we may lack brains, we are definitely not slack when it comes to action. Just say the word and we'll do it, as long as you pay. In case there is another chance for a profitable deal, Please consider us as your priority. We, the reserve forces, are truly fearful of being poor. He then pulled the bus driver and walked outside. He really couldn't stay in this place any longer. The driver, not giving up, said, "Boss, I haven't received the money yet." Matthew's face was very dark. "How dare you ask for money? You messed everything up. Dallas just returned to school over here." He was intercepted by Carson, who was waiting here early. He was crying and complaining. "You're back. The school has changed during the days you were away. We won the assessment. The other two schools that were causing trouble every day are now discontented. But now that you're back, the two of us joining forces will definitely cause chaos together." Seeing him like this, Dallas made a miraculous joke. "Which one are you responsible for?" Carson awkwardly didn't know how to respond and had to change the subject. "Lewis is waiting for you at the breakfast shop over there. Let me pass on the message to you." Dallas wondered why Lewis was looking for him. Is it to have breakfast together? As soon as he walked into the breakfast shop, Lewis pointed to the owner next to him. "Have you seen this person before?" Dallas looked and said, "The owner of the breakfast shop. Is he your relative?" Lewis was surprised and exclaimed, "How can this kid have such a strong mentality?" He took a sip of soy milk to cover his embarrassment. "What do you think of this person?" Dallas was stunned this time. "What do I think?" he pondered. Lewis didn't know what to say. This person used to be in the reserve forces. He practiced hard for 2 years in the reserve forces. Later, he was stationed at Dawn Pass. But unexpectedly, on the 3rd day after his arrival, he encountered a night attack by the Demon Clan. His leg was also broken during that sudden attack. Lewis's eyes were solemn as he spoke. He had trained hard for 2 years, but ended up on the battlefield for less than 3 days. "I'm just trying to tell you that the human race is far from being as optimistic as it seems today. If you were to encounter someone who sacrificed their life for the human race and faced danger in front of you, would you lend a helping hand?" Dallas looked bewildered. "I don't know. There is no reason to save people in Sin Town. I have seen with my own eyes people who were rescued pick up a knife from behind. I have also seen one man sacrifice 3 lives for a blood-soaked steamed bun. I don't even understand why people would want to protect others. Isn't this world all about self-interest? Teachers care about their students, but the students pick up knives to guard against them. Because the closer they appear in Sin Town, the more likely they are to stab you in the back. Dallas has seen rescued individuals turn their knives on their saviors. He has also witnessed 3 lives lost over a blood-stained steamed bun." Lewis sighed as he watched Dallas and stood up. "Maybe I shouldn't force you to do anything, because this world has never sheltered you." He patted Dallas on the shoulder as he spoke. "And why should I make you protect the world?" But what Lewis didn't expect was, the moment he touched Dallas's shoulder, Dallas had already taken out a blade without knowing when. As long as Lewis dared to make a move,